Righty. All right, family. Welcome to the show. Big Rob, we got a special guest with us today.
Yes, sir. Very special guest.
No stranger to our show, but it's been a while. We call him the Chief, but the term is Ogema for the Little River Bands of Ottawa Indians. Want to welcome Larry Romanelli to the show today. How you doing today, Larry?
Good. How you doing, Paul? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you real good.
Okay, good.
Man, it seemed like it's been forever, man, this whole process of trying to get a casino in Muskegon.
Absolutely. And when you're my age, 10 years is forever. So, yeah, it's been a while. Yes.
Yeah. So are we at the finish line?
We're getting very close. We're like at about the 6-yard line right now. And we've carried the ball, yes, and things are looking good. It's not over till it's over, but what we're waiting for is a 30-day period to be ended, which is basically almost the end of this month. And then once that happens, we have to take it to the state. Once it's signed and approved, hopefully, we take it to the state of Michigan for sign off from the House, Senate, and the governor, hopefully. And then we're ready to go.
Do you see any hurdles?
I do. There's a little bit. We've always had some. We have 3 other tribes out of 12 tribes in the state that have been giving us a little bit of run for our money. Not too much of a hurdle anymore. I think we've gone through the process where they said, the tribe shouldn't be there, all these different things, but we proved that to be incorrect. The only thing they're using now is basically that we may hurt their business a little bit. But really, that's semantics, and really, it just boils down to competition.
Right.
So, if you don't mind sharing, who are these major hurdles?
Sure. The main one is Gun Lake down by Grand Rapids, south of Grand Rapids, and then we have Soaring Eagle in the center of the state, and then we have the Nottawasepi, which is Firekeepers Casino. So those 3 are the ones that are basically giving opposition. The odd part is we've never opposed another tribal casino, not there. As a matter of fact, we gave Gun Lake two letters of support when they were trying to open their casino. And we knew that it would take some of our business because in part of it, the Grand Rapids base is where some of our customers come from. So we knew it, but you know what? We have enough issues that we have to fight. We don't believe that that should be one of them. And, business is business. So.
Yeah. What kind of impact will this have on Muskegon?
It'll have a huge impact on Muskegon. It's been estimated that probably 1,000 to 1,200 jobs right off the bat that are solid jobs. We have 750 jobs up here in Manistee. The Muskegon Casino will be about 1.5 times to almost 2 times, depending on the situation, as big as Manistee. So when we say 1,000 jobs to start with, that's very realistic. We believe that it'll actually impact about 3,000 jobs.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of impact have you had on Manistee and the community there?
We've had a good impact. When I first became Ogema, there was talk about, it'll bring in crime and all this, those things that used to be said. And in fact, I talked to the chief of police at the time who said, no, actually, crime went down. When people have jobs and they have something to do during the day or night, we have 3 shifts. Crime went down.
Wow. So we can expect crime to go down. And these jobs, 1,000 jobs, do they require a bachelor's degree, master's degree, associate? What would they require?
There are all kinds of jobs. The minute you hit the casino, you are greeted by valet, and then you have the hotel front desk. But on the back side, you also have jobs in the back, which is accounting jobs, legal. There's all kinds of different jobs. And no, you can be, just about any kind of background and find a job there. On average, we pay about $40,000 a year plus benefits on an average. So, there are some jobs that pay a little less than that and some that pay more, but that's an average. Yeah.
So someone who's working the slot machine, they come in and they give you, if you win the jackpot, they come and cash you out. How much those folks be making?
I'm going to guess here because I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm guessing they're around the $40,000 mark.
Woo.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm guessing, but yeah.
That's a good comfortable living, with 2 people working in the household.
Yeah. And what we're also doing is we're setting up some classes with like MCC in Muskegon. I'm a Muskegon boy. I've been there. Well, not a boy anymore, but I'm a Muskegon resident. And we're working with MCC to set up some classes that people can take. For example, if you want to be a card dealer, games, whatever, that they can get some training there if they'd like to. And, those dealers sometimes make pretty good tips. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Now, so 1,000 jobs starting off, and then long term, how many? What do you think your goal might be?
Well, we probably would be. I'm looking at about 1,200 to 1,500 jobs, permanent jobs. I mean, and then we have the construction jobs that would start hopefully next year if everything goes right, and go from there. So yeah.
So the Senate needs to sign off. Michigan Senate.
Yes. Yep.
Republican ran Senate, and I'm sure you've been talking to those guys.
Yep.
Do you see any hurdles there?
Not really. The one good thing, and I think there was just a recent article that said this is an issue that both sides of the aisle can get along with, and we do. We have Republicans and Dems right there working together, and locally, I mean, you have Terry Sabo, a Dem, working with somebody like again, Huizinga or whatever. So, and everybody's been really supportive. They've never seen so much support for a casino from coast to coast, is what I was told, because the Muskegon needs it, And when you look at the map of Michigan, sometimes that money doesn't flow all the way to the west side here, and so we need it, and our unemployment rates are always a little higher and stuff like that. So. Yeah, and economically, you just turn over that money over and over and over again when they spend it for car washes and food and everything. So within the community, it's really it's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Wow. How big is your tribe here in Muskegon?
In Muskegon, it's about 700 members, roughly.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That's our largest base. We have 500 members in Manistee, but we have 700 members in Muskegon.
Man, is there any plans to build a community for the tribe?
Not necessarily for the tribe. We have the Odino project housing community.
Okay.
And we have 5 phases. We're just completing phase 1. That's in Fruitport. Now we do want to consider as we go forward, basically doing some more of that, maybe on a different scale, because that's economic development right there.
It is. We got an online question from Tony Davis. He said, "Is this just a casino or a hotel and casino like Detroit?"
It's going to be a hotel casino, a casino with a hotel, some meeting rooms, and some restaurants, kind of like what we have up here. What we believe is the size of that casino would bring in about 600 motel rooms or beds, is what we call it, and we're only going to take about 220 hotel rooms and give 400 basically to the local community so that they can share.
Oh wow! Now I got something from 500 Nations. I don't know if this is the latest draw. Is this what you expect it to look like?
Nope.
Okay, let me take that down then.
No, it's that was a first rendition, and they gave it too much of a glass thing. We're not exactly sure what it's going to look like, but I want something that looks classy, not top of the line, not like Las Vegas, because we're not Vegas, but I want something that looks nice for Muskegon. Again, it's a legacy for me, and I have a special interest to it, so I want it to look good, and that was a nice first rendition, but that's not what I'm expecting it.
Another online question from Jay from M106 said, "Will there be entertainment options for live music and concerts?"
Yes, we're hoping so. That hasn't been finalized. Up here we have 1,700 seat event center, and we're looking at something like that. We don't know what the size is, exactly how many seats we would have, but yeah, we're looking at something like that. We don't want to compete with Muskegon, whether it be the Fronthal or whatever, but that'd be a different type of entertainment. We want to make sure that we fit well into the community. So yeah.
Jay Kilgo from Black Lives Matter Muskegon said, local real estate agent Jay Kilgore, wondering how many jobs you plan to bring to Muskegon. Okay, I know you answered that, but go ahead and say it again, Larry, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we will probably about start out to 1,200 to 1,500 permanent jobs. We will also have another several hundred jobs in construction that start out. And then there's the ancillary jobs that we'll bring. For example, the local car dealership said we're going to have to hire another car salesperson. The restaurant said we're going to have a couple more servers. And so ancillary will probably have bring in about 3,000, 3,500 jobs.
Man, that's major. Rob, I'm coming to you after this question. Andy O'Reilly, he said hello to you earlier. And he said, Larry,
hey, Andy.
Good man right there. That's Mr. Muskegon right there, Andy O'Reilly.
It is.
And my brother, believe it or not, he's my brother.
Right. He said, how has COVID impacted the tribe?
It's impacted us pretty greatly. Matter of fact, I was just on a call this morning to figure out what we do with our Manistee Casino. And it's been rough, but we've weathered the storm pretty good, and we think we will going forward. But yeah, it's hit everybody, and the issue is you have to provide safety, and you also have to make sure that you're providing the economic development, that you're still adding to that as well. So there's a fine line there, and we've managed to keep the casino open, but on a limited basis. We've taken every precaution we can to make sure people are safe, and so it has impacted us, but we're going to survive just like the rest of the nation.
All right, go ahead, Rob.
What could you say to people that may think a casino will bring crime here to Muskegon? What did you guys do in Manistee, and how did you guys deal with things there?
Sure. We one of the things that people worry about is like problem gambling, and we have a gambling hotline that somebody can call, and we've not found it to be a real major problem in most cases. It's just like somebody that overshops or overspends money in different ways. Some of those people will be prone to that. But for the most part, if they're having fun, and if they don't go in there to make money, they go in there to have fun, and they keep that's fine. The other thing I mentioned earlier is that the local police department said that crime actually went down when we came to town, because when people have jobs and they have something to do for 8 hours and you can provide for your family, the crime absolutely goes down. And that's what we found. That's why, 20 years ago, that was the first thing that people threw at a casino coming to town. Now you notice they don't say that anymore, because they know that not to be true, especially with Native American casinos in Michigan.
Right.
Now, does the tribe have their own police department that will police the casino, or will they be looking for local law enforcement also?
A little bit of both. We have an agreement, cross-dep agreement, we call it, with the local communities, and we have our own police department here. I think we have about a 25 person force, and we will have some officers there, but we will also be looking for local talent in that area too.
Wow. My friend in New York, Kim Mercer, I would gamble and call the hotline at the same time. Okay. For the tribe, this really helps out the tribe personally, right? Members of the tribe do get a certain amount of stipend.
Yes. We mostly provide services for our tribal members, our elders, and we have a clinic. We have services for our elders, and in our community, some people call elders or senior citizens at 62. In our community, we call them at 55 because our length of our age is different than the average person. We die at an earlier age, so we consider them elders at 55. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Also, we got a question from Jay Kilgore. Are there any plans for a sports book at the new facility? We love betting against the Lions, So.
Yes. Well, we have that. We're working on that up here, as you know. So, yeah, that would be planned in the works as well. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Man,
betting against the Lions? I can't.
Right. Where should people go to get information, like to get caught up to date, get the latest information?
Sure. We have a website which is called MuskegonJobsNow.com. It looks a little weird because it looks like Muskegon snow jobs, and being in West Michigan.
Oh,
but it's really Muskegon Jobs Now. The S goes with the jobs, not with the now. So
Right. Okay.
but
Now, questions to you about the Native American life on the reservation. Can
mhm.
outside police come in and arrest you guys? What's the law on that?
That's a tricky one. Yeah, and we keep going back and forth of that. For example, we may not be able to arrest somebody that's non-native on our land, and it goes back and forth. And that's why we look at the cross-depth situation so that we have a working agreement. We can help the local law enforcement. Say, example, if there's a bad winter storm, we can come out and assist the local police. If we need help on our reservation area, they can come on and help us too. But yeah, it's really a tricky situation at times.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
A question from Andy O'Reilly. What steps can people take to help move things along?
Uh, right now, they could write to the, and it does work, by the way, to write to the governor and write to the House and Senate. And right, it probably isn't none too early right to do that because we're going to really be pushing on this. They could also write if they wanted to the Department of Interior, but that's so far along. I don't know how much help it would do. It can't hurt.
Right.
Matter of fact, I just checked and people have been writing, and almost 95% of what they've been writing is all supportive. And that's, of course, what's been happening in Muskegon, too. People are very supportive. But yes, writing letters to the Department of Interior, which is Tammy Poitras, and I think that's on our website on that MuskegonJobsNow.com, or I think it's .com. You can find it there, and also to write to your senators or let them know and your Congress people that you want this to go. And it really does help. And if you do it in the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's been helpful. I cannot believe the support that people have been giving.
Oh, they've been waiting. They've been waiting on this thing. Yeah, they're on the edge.
Yes.
Rob, I'm coming to you after this next question. Your tribe, they originally owned all this. This was their land. What's the history with the Little River Band Ottawa Indians?
Yeah. We occupied the lands along the West Michigan, and again, north of Manistee down through Ottawa County, et cetera, and over towards Grand Rapids. And we cover, Little River Band covers a nine county area, which includes Kent County and Ottawa County and goes up just north of Manistee. So, yep.
And there were peace treaties signed along the way?
Yeah.
and so you guys were pushed out further. They would violate these peace treaties, right?
Well, what happened is they had the, there was a lot of things that happened over the years, but back in, I think, 1940 something, they had the Indian Reorganization Act, and they were trying to move us in different areas. My family was one of them that said, no, we're not going anyplace. And it caused a little bit of rough times. But we had 2 treaties. One of them helped create the state of Michigan. We had the Treaty of 1833 and 1836 and the Treaty of 1855. And both of those helped create Michigan. And, that's where we're at. Yeah.
Wow. And so these people are opposing y'all getting a casino here. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That is crazy, but yeah.
Rob, go ahead.
How does it feel knowing that you're native to this land and everybody else just really guessed?
Yeah, I think differently than a lot of Native Americans. I don't think I no longer think they're guests. I think we're all, Americans or United States citizens. I do get a little frustrated at times when, and you hear it too, when they say, well, the minority population here is, you got unemployment here and jobs and stuff. And when do you hear Native American? And that gets a little frustrating, and again, I listen for it and they go, okay. And they talk about the different things and I go, okay, what's the Native American unemployment? What's the Native American suicide rate? And I even ask some of my, our elected official, and they'll be talking to me and I'll say, what is it? And they go, yeah, you're right. And I go, no, I'm asking you, what is the rate? You're right. We don't pay attention.
You want a number.
Right, because we're only 4% of the population thereabouts, it depends on where you're at. So we don't count too much. And that's a little frustrating for me. That's my own little personal soapbox, but yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, Rob.
You hear these idiots talking about, especially they do it a lot to African Americans. They tell us to go back to Africa and all this other stuff. When you hear that kind of rhetoric, what is it for you as a Native American?
Right. I mean, well, there's a lot of jokes that you can say, and it's like everybody's down the line saying, you go back, you go back, you back. And then you
Right.
have a Native American pointing to different shores,
Right.
Oh, wow.
Uh, I just, it's frustrating in so many ways. And I just try to be a part of the community. And I think everybody just, has to, we're here now. Let's make it right. Let's do the best we can. Let's get everybody a fair shake. And we as Native Americans didn't have a right to vote until 1924.
Oh, wow.
And I could trace my family where it was, in World War I and World War II. Even before we had a right to vote, we were, serving in our country. And people go, well, now why would you do that when you were treated, so indignantly or whatever? And they say, but it's still our land. Our forefathers were buried here. The blood of our ancestors are here. So why wouldn't we fight for it? So, and my dad was a World War II vet, and he did it proudly. And I just think, come on, people.
Wow.
Get it
When you
right.
hear about developers trying to develop around Native American land and around cemeteries or trying to interrupt that sacred ground, what do that do to you?
Well, it doesn't feel good, and again, I think if they do things respectfully, we can work together. And again, return some of those, reinter some of the bones if they find them, or remains of if they find them. Be respectful. That's all we're asking, And again, I'm not opposed to development. Hell, we're doing it ourselves. But you got to be respectful. And if they come across a cemetery, what would they expect for theirs? If I went to St. Mary's and said, "Hey, let's knock these, heads apart here because I want to go digging for worms or something," it wouldn't be cool. So, the same type of, all we're asking for is the same respect, or
Right.
So,
A couple more questions. Brian
Yeah.
Clancy said, is this a tribe-ran casino, which we know? What is it going to be managed by a Las Vegas business management company?
No, it shouldn't be. And again, we don't have the final thing, but no, we try to manage our own. As a matter of fact, I sit on the board of directors here and manage it. So I'm wearing 3 hats at the present time. And what we try to do too is we try to hire locally, meaning the closer to the epicenter of the project, whether it be construction or management or people that we hire, we really want to get as local as we can, and there are times where you have to have, for example, a casino designer may come from the West Coast somewhere because that's where all the casinos are. But other than that, I mean, if we can hire locally, it works to our benefit, So, yeah.
Tell us about your commitment to diversity, to having a casino that reflects the community it's in.
Yeah. I don't, for me, there's numerics, and again, and I get frustrated and I get, and some of the Black community and Hispanic community know that I get frustrated too, because where's my 4%, as I say, when if there's contracts to be let out and Native Americans aren't represented, I get a little frustrated, and I'm not too shy not to say that. So I think we look at the community as a whole and say, look, let's make sure that we have equal shares and of that represent the community. And if, say, and we know that the minority community within the United States and maybe even Michigan is about 33%, a third of all people. So wouldn't you want that kind of representation working for you? Yes. We do have a special provision for Native Americans because of the compacts, et cetera, that give special thing. But even if you go up here to Manistee, we don't, 75% at least of the people working are not Native American. They're the local communities. And that's what we want to hold to again. So, yeah.
Now, you guys make a commitment to give back to the community. This leads to this question here. Are there any difference between the tribe casinos and other casinos?
I'm sorry, what was
any
the question?
difference between Little River Casino and maybe a private owned or MGM casino?
No, we have a commitment to the community. We also, for example, in our compact, we give back 2% to the local community, and it's on a sliding scale anywhere from 6% to 12% usually that we give back to the state of Michigan. Some tribes don't pay anything to the state, at least Soaring Eagle, for example, pays nothing to the state.
Oh,
But
wow.
we paid, yeah, that's a lot of money. But we paid both. We are pretty generous in the community, as people know. We got this little casino up here, and we donate to the different causes and stuff. And so we've had a rougher time lately because we have 4,200 members, and we have one little casino, and that's why we're trying for the second casino. And I know early on we tried to help you out in a couple times. We'd like to be able to give more, but
Right.
we do the best we can. So
Right.
yeah, not all
Would,
bad.
would communities like Muskegon Heights and Muskegon, would they see support from the casino?
They should. And the cool thing is that where we're located, right there on the old racetrack property, is right there where the Heights ends and Fruitport and Norton Shores. So just by the location alone, and I think I've talked to some leaders from the Heights that I've said, man, if I was going to develop, because over the years I would look at that corner there by Getty and Seaway Drive, for example, and expand towards downtown, because I could almost throw well, not quite, but really it's a stone's throw from that property to ours. So if you take that whole section along there and try and develop going towards the Heights, it seems like that would make sense,
But I tell you what, Heights will give you that land too, I'm sure.
Hey, we talked about it. You've got that property right there by the cemetery, etc. And I think I talked to Jerry Lottie way back in the day, and other people. I've talked to a lot of people. But if they could, we're out to be part of the community, and whether it be the Heights or Fruitport or Norton Shores, we want to be in there. And again, I have to live here, and I want to be a good neighbor, and I want to be treated fairly. And I think that's all anybody can ask,
Right.
And so, yeah.
Two more questions here. Randy Crow from the Boys and Girls Club say, hey, y'all, Larry, are there age restrictions on employees working in casinos thinking for teenager opportunities for good paying summer jobs? That's a good question.
Yeah, and mostly in the casino, yes, there are age requirements, and it's, I believe, 18. But there are things that can happen, on the outside as well. And so there's possibilities there. And I think we need to work to develop those things early on so that the youth know that they're there. I used to be in employment training for a number of years, so I know what those are. And the barriers to employment are, transportation, childcare, all those things. And as a youth, getting back and forth to a job, it isn't that they don't want the job, it's making sure that they, can get there. This is on a bus route, so that could be helpful. And if we can help prepare them, again, all the better. So, yeah.
Randy Huckabee Dang said, great news. I was always hoping to see this happen before I leave this life. Finally, it's going to happen. Any chance of this money can trickle? We already talked about that. The money coming to the Muskegon Heights. How long do you think it's going to be? Another year before you actually start putting, sticks in the ground, shovel in the ground?
I'm an optimist, and of course that didn't fare so well early on, because I thought, man, if I can get this thing done in 5-6 years, it will be good.
Right.
Well, here we are, 11 years later. But you always have to remain the optimist. I really believe, especially if we, I'm trying to keep the push on now. We're there. We're so close. We're on the 5-yard line. That if people support it and write their letters of support, I'm all for it. What I want to do is I want to make sure that we're chopping up ground next spring, that we're ready to go. We're putting in the underground utilities. We're hiring construction, and we're getting the thing going so that we can build it. And when we build it, they talk about, 2.5 years to build the thing. I want to build it in 18 months or 2 years, and if we have to put on a little extra hours to get it done, that's where I'm at. Now, that might be a little hyper, but I don't think it's that far off. I really don't. So realistically, I've been trying to tell people, if it goes right in this step here, this final steps, we're looking at 3 years from now, their lights will be on, the machines will be going, etc. Now, if I can cut that down, great. If these other casinos want to keep fighting us, they've already dragged us out a bit, and that's part of the plan, I assume, so they can, slow us down. Right. But I'm not a quitter, and I'm not the only one. I say we have a lot of people working on it. So we have a darn good crew that's worked very hard, and it's very frustrating to go something that long, and I seriously, at my age, I'm thinking, gosh, I want to get it done in my lifetime.
Right. No, is this going to be bigger than the Gun Lake Casino or similar in size?
I'm hoping similar in size. It's going to be if you want to, because I always compare to our casino, the Manistee Casino, and people should look at the size of that. It's about 1.5 to 2 times the size of that.
Sounds good. Rob, any questions before we go? Anything else, Rob?
No, I just think I want to make a comment. I just think it's frustrating that, it's like me coming to your house, kicking you out your house, Larry.
I know.
And you have to go through all of these steps to get back in your house.
On your land.
I know.
Yeah.
On your land. That,
know.
To me, you're optimist. I would be just totally angry because, you kicked me out my house.
I know.
You understand what I'm saying, Larry?
I absolutely, Rob. And that's it. It's frustrating because I'm scratching my head at times because we have a stack of paperwork that we have to show that we're going to be a good citizen, that we're going to not impact the land, we're not going to impact traffic, we're not going to, all these impact studies. And I'm thinking, really, I have to work this hard to get back something that was there. And it's, and you can choose to be angry or can choose to be an optimist. And yeah, there are times where I want to just kick the heck out of the walls, but you got a choice. And that's like people that have been sent away to prison for 30 years and they come out and they go, man, I'm just thankful to get out. I'm thinking, really? Right. I'm so mad. And so it's this kind of same thing, and I just think of my dad and my grandparents and I think, geez, oh Pete, come on, we can do this thing. That's why it's my legacy, and I'm committed. It isn't about too much things. I want to give back to the community. I think that'd be so cool. And this is a big job. I want to, make an impression for the tribal people that are in West Michigan, not only, our tribe, but other tribes, and then the community as a whole. And what's so cool is when I started this, they kept saying, yeah, when are you going to get your casino? Yeah, when's your casino coming? Now they say, where's our casino? When are we going to get our casino? And they've internalized it. And that's right. This isn't only about Little River. This is about the community as a whole. Right. And it used to be about Muskegon. Now it's Muskegon County. And now it's expanded to West Michigan. Wow. So I just keep the faith, and yeah, I could get really upset, and I do at times, but other times I just say, let's work together and get something done.
Right. There are 2 holidays I want to ask you about personally. Columbus Day and Thanksgiving Day.
Yep.
What's your opinion about those days?
Well, I'm a different one, and I've got some Italian blood in me, and I've got some American blood. So, it's like fighting with myself at certain times, and my wife says, it's like being asked to choose between your mother and father. Which one do you love best?
Right.
Right. And so that's about all I can say on that. And when I look at statues, and again, I'm different. I'm not speaking on behalf of my tribe by any means or as a minority as a whole. I think sometimes, some of those statues, they should put a plaque that tells the real truth. Instead of taking down history, you say, you know what? Instead of just demolishing that, let's put this guy was a butthead, okay, or whatever the case. And I'm not saying that about Columbus specifically. I'm saying about all these different things. Why don't we put the truth? They want to change the name of some of the things in Lansing because it was a Lewis Cass building or whatever. Okay, all right, let's put the real history there and have it be a learning lesson rather than tearing everything down and apart and trying to change it. At the time they put it up, they thought it was good, maybe. Okay, I just say, why don't we make it a learning thing? What was the second question?
Well, Thanksgiving. What your thoughts on Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think we need more than a page in a history book around November for Native Americans, and they say, well, they got Native American month. Who knows what they do, So I think we need the real history to be there. And at Thanksgiving, if they could run some information, the real information about Native Americans, again, another teaching moment. We don't have to get all crappy about it. We can be all, just say, hey, there's more to that than what you see. And there are Native Americans that get really mad if you call them Indians or whatever. That's not me. You can call me Native American, you call me Indian. We call it the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians. That's what we call ourselves. So why can't, others? So I don't get it's teaching moments. It's like, what? I prefer Native American in some ways because that's what we were. We were native to the Americas. So again, so I don't take it real hard, and I think we just need to chill sometimes and have it be teaching moments.
Right. In our closing, there was a good relationship between I think it's the Seminole Indians, Native American, in Florida. I know there were tribes of Indians that helped blacks during slavery. They either migrated, blacks blended in with them. They helped them fight. And I just want to, I haven't met any, but I want to thank you because I know you're Native Americans, and we know there's been a good relationship there, particularly in the South.
Yeah, you had the Seminoles, and you had there's some other tribes down there that were doing that. But yeah.
Thanks, man. Well, anything else you want to share before we go, Larry?
No, I think it's good. Thanks for having me on, Paul. It's nice seeing you again after all this time, and we just keep the faith and keep going. And this is good for West Michigan. And don't let anybody fool you. We're doing the right thing. And, it just, they slowed us down, but they won't stop us. And I'm fully committed, and they know it. They know. It's like, oh gosh, here we go.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And we have really good people in West Michigan. First off, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of the people in West Michigan. I can't go into a restaurant or a grocery store that they're not, calling me across the room. And sometimes it's funny, because I think, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Nobody's gonna say something. I'll hear across the, Meyer Markets, and they go, "Hey, man, where's that casino? Is it ever gonna happen?" I'm like, yeah. They're like dials down, So yeah, it's funny. So.
Wow. Well, continue blessings, man. We'll be in contact. Thanks for joining us today. All right.
Yep. If for some reason it doesn't happen, you won't see me around. I'll be hiding in the bushes someplace.
This is gonna happen. Take care, Larry.
Yeah, you take it easy. Nice seeing you both.
You too. You too.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.